Are you an ADHDer who struggles to keep your emotions in check? If so, then this video is for you because we are going to dive into the science of why being emotionally dysregulated and not being able to control your emotions is actually making your ADHD symptoms worse. Then I will give you 3 tips to help with ADHD big feelings, so make sure you stick around till the end. And if you're a woman who's late diagnosed with ADHD and you're struggling to maintain your cool, then I'm here to help. I have ADHD and I know firsthand how hard it can be at times, so I've dedicated my life to helping women thrive post-ADHD diagnosis. There's a link to book a call with me in the description of this video. I'd love to chat with you to see how I can support you. Emotional dysregulation is a significant factor in ADHD, but what does that really mean? To understand this, we need to look at several key areas, including brain functioning, cognitive impacts, as well as behavioral effects. First, let's talk about 3 neurobiological mechanisms. The brain plays a huge role in ADHD, and emotional dysregulation can complicate things further. Here's how. First, prefrontal cortex dysfunction. This part of the brain is essential for executive functions like planning, decision-making, as well as impulse control. In ADHD, there's often reduced activity or connectivity here. When emotional dysregulation kicks in, it adds extra stress to the prefrontal cortex, making it even harder to manage attention and behavior. Then we have amygdala hyperactivity. The amygdala processes emotions and detects threats. In ADHD, this area of our brain can be overactive. When you struggle with emotional control, this hyperactivity can lead to more intense and frequent emotional reactions, worsening impulsive and reactive behavior. And then we have neurotransmitter imbalance. Dopamine and norepinephrine are key players in attention and emotional regulation. ADHD involves dysregulation of these neurotransmitters, and emotional dysregulation can disrupt their balance even further, impacting both your attention as well as self-control. Now let's look at cognitive and emotional reactions. Impaired executive functioning. With our impaired executive functioning, emotional dysregulation puts additional pressure on the prefrontal cortex, making it even harder to manage tasks as well as maintain focus. This interference can worsen issues with organization and planning. And then we have stress and cognitive load. When you're emotionally distressed, your brain has to handle a higher cognitive load. And this added burden can detract from your ability to concentrate on tasks, exacerbating inattention and distractibility. And finally, let's consider behavioral impacts. Impulsivity and emotional control. Difficulty managing emotions often leads to impulsive reactions. For individuals with ADHD, the struggle is magnified when emotions are not regulated, resulting in more frequent outbursts and hasty decision-making. And then we have attention and emotional distraction. Strong emotional responses can hijack your emotions. For someone with ADHD, this means your focus is more easily pulled away by emotional stimuli, which can make completing tasks even harder. Emotional dysregulation also affects your social and environmental interactions. Interpersonal strain. Emotional instability can cause conflicts and misunderstandings in your relationships. This added social stress can further distract you and aggravate ADHD symptoms. And then we have self-esteem and motivation. Persistent emotional challenges can hurt your self-esteem. Lower self-esteem can diminish your motivation, making it more difficult to stay engaged in tasks and follow through with ADHD management strategies. And finally, let's touch on neuroplasticity as well as treatment. Adaptive challenges. Neuroplasticity is the brain's ability to adapt and change. Effective treatments for ADHD and emotional dysregulation can help rewire neural pathways, leading to improvements in emotional regulation and cognitive functions. You can also work with an ADHD coach. Working with an ADHD coach can help manage emotional responses, which in turn can reduce the impact of our ADHD symptoms. And this happens to be my zone of genius because I have made it my life's mission to support late diagnosed ADHD women around controlling emotions, not suffering so much when we're feeling the effects of RSD, because I have come up with many tactics as well as mindset shifts to get you out of RSD when your internal narrative is telling you stories about how everyone's against you and how you're doing everything wrong. My ADHD coaching practice is rooted in neuroplasticity as well as positive psychology because we absolutely can rewire our brain. I like to think of a negative thought pattern as a path in a forest. And the forest is really, really dense. So the pathway of our brain that is being really negative is very well traveled because we're constantly maybe coming up short and beating ourselves up for it, or being hard on ourselves because maybe we struggle with perfectionism or imposter syndrome. When you learn to create new neural pathways, then that story that you used to tell yourself dies. And let's face it, neurons that wire together, fire together. So what I do in my practice is I teach the ladies in my program how to create new neural pathways so that they can feel really good about themselves. They learn how to celebrate wins and they stop listening to that little voice in their head if she's really hard on them normally. Again, I have a link to book a call with me in the description of this video. I'd absolutely love to get on a call and chat with you to see how I can support you. Thank you so much for watching today. I hope that you learned something. Please give me your tips in the comments for emotional dysregulation when it arises for you. And don't forget to like this video, subscribe to my channel, and share this video with someone who you care about. Thank you so much for watching the video today. I hope that you enjoyed it, and I will see you next week in the next video.